Welcome to That Guy's a Maniac, the podcast. We are a podcast about video games. My name is Richie. With me as always is Farley. Say hello, Farley.
Hello.
You can find us on www.thatguys.co.uk or on our social tag at That Guy's a Maniac. All one word, lowercase. Right. So Farley, how you doing?
Good.
Shall we move on to our quote segment?
Yeah.
Have you got a quote for me?
I do, yeah. Here it goes. I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. Is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are. Do you know where that quote is from, Richie?
Yes, I absolutely do, because we fucked up the recording and we now have to make me pretend that I understand what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, right,
Yeah.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Oh! Is it Mewtwo from the Pokemon movie?
It is. Well done. Yes, I tried to trick you because it wasn't a proper video game. It was video game adjacent. But your mastery of film and video game knowledge came into play. Yes, it is a quote from Mewtwo in the first Pokemon movie. Not the CG version.
No. Although, wouldn't they use the same quote in that one?
They would, yeah. I think it is exactly the same, but
But your quote is from the original.
Yeah.
The proper quote. The proper film.
Yeah, I'm not. The CG one was fine. It just seemed a bit weird.
Unnecessary?
Unnecessary, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, really unnecessary.
Cool. But I did get it pretty sharply, the first take.
Well, took you about 15 minutes last time.
Oh, you're such a dick.
You're like, oh, I'm sure it's Skyrim. It's someone from Skyrim. Then you went, what's the StarCraft 2 expansion? Queen of Blades? Is that it?
Kerrigan. Brood War.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I said.
And then
Let's not go down. Let's stop.
For ages you were listing like all the people from Animal Crossing. And then I gave you a big hint and you got it. But sadly that recording's lost.
Yeah. Such a dick.
Yeah. It's quite. Do you know what's quite cool about Mewtwo from that movie in particular?
He looks a little bit like Frieza from Dragon Ball.
No. Although is that cool?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. He's also got balls for hands, but that's not what's cool.
Hands for balls.
Hands for balls, balls for hands. Speak for balls.
He's a ball grabber.
He's a bally boy. But yeah, Mewtwo kind of plays his own character in the anime because he comes back, I think, 3 or 4 times.
Okay. And
as
he plays his own
that Mewtwo, yeah.
Okay. So is there like only one Mewtwo in that Pokemon universe?
I don't know. There's definitely other Mewtwo's.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Mewtwo features a lot in the anime, but I've not watched a key bit in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, because there was that. Do you remember I got really excited about the straight-to-video back in the day sequel to Pokemon first movie, Mewtwo Returns?
Yes. Yeah, Mewtwo's Return. Yeah, I was also excited about it.
Yeah, did we
not both buy the video?
Yeah, when I ran out
version?
to Virgin Megastore.
I remember it being a Toys R Us that we went to.
Oh, it might have been. Yeah, it might have been as silly as that. Yeah. So we went to Toys R Us. You got a free bonus Pokemon video.
The Christmas. It was
special.
a Pikachu get Christmas special. Yeah.
And that film was awful.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was only 45 minutes long, and
Yeah.
I think all it was like the voice actor just needed some more work or something.
Yeah, it was just a lot of Mewtwo being really introspective. Oh yeah, it's just a lot of Mewtwo being introspective.
Yeah. I mean, much of a muchness. It is what it is, and I don't know. Like, I don't really remember it as like I think I saw it once, and I think we were both genuinely excited about it.
Yeah, I think we watched it on launch day.
Yeah, on launch day, went back to our prospective houses and or got our CRT TVs out and plugged in our videos via the aerial socket at the back and watched Pokemon on VHS.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Feel old?
No. I was thinking, maybe I should rewatch that.
Okay.
Just to see if
Do you still have a VHS set up?
No, we did have one, but the video player itself broke, I think.
I wonder if you get digital VHS players nowadays. No, I don't. No, don't go down that path. Don't go down that path, Richie. I don't care.
You break open the VHS and it's just a USB stick inside.
No, I was like thinking of something that you put the videotape onto that you can like plug in via USB to your TV or something like that.
Or right.
HDMI.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I meant. Right, okay. So we have an episode today. It's a special episode. It's a different episode. It's a new episode. What is it about, Farley?
We're gonna play a little bit of, I guess, getting to know you, getting to know all about you, with some big hitting, fairly standard questions about video games.
Yeah, but what makes this episode so special is you singing again. Yeah. Cool.
So we've got some questions lined up.
Cool.
Are you ready?
I am ready, raring to go, and I'm sure I will forget all of my answers.
That restarts really fucked the energy of this podcast. Can you feel it?
Yeah, I can.
It was so strong and good. You did it. He actually, readers, he did a really good intro. Believe me. And then we were all like chatty. Fuck. Okay, right. Energy, channeling energy.
Yeah, I mean, it's the past. It's the past. It's gone. We are recording it, but it is the past.
It is the past.
Yeah, so let's move on. Let's get this going. Shake it off, Farley. Shake it off. Literally, come on. Shake it off.
Shake it off.
Good.
Okay.
Here's a question.
Richie Cunningham. What was the first video game you remember playing?
The first video game I remember playing was on the Commodore 64.
Mm.
And it was a cartridge. Now, I know this isn't the first video game, but it's like I can't remember which one I played first, put it that way. But it was a cartridge that had 4 games on it.
Mm-hmm.
We may have talked about this in previous podcasts. It had a sort of Tetrisy brick style game called Clacks.
Oh yeah, I remember Clacks.
Yeah, good. Where you have to pull bricks that are falling down and put them in the right direction. It's like Guitar Hero before Guitar Hero. It looks very similar.
Yes. Is there a big glove? Did you play as a glove? Or was the logo a glove? Or
not in the Commodore 64. Not that I can remember.
I think I think it also came out on the Mega Drive, right?
Yeah, it might have, but I mean, I remember that like Commodore 64 was like pre 8-bit, I think.
Yeah, I just remember the box. I'm just looking up, and I remember the box art of. There's a guy at an arcade machine, stood on one of the Clacks blocks.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I remember that image. Okay, so Clacks.
Yeah, so Clacks. It also had 3 other games. Fiendish Freddy's International. Fiendish Freddy's Circus or something like that. I can't remember the full title. It was just Fiendish Freddy's. Basically, it was circus acts, and there was a lot of joystick waggling. So there was things like you had to do the high dive into increasingly smaller and smaller pools of water. And so the last one was like a cup, and you basically just had to aim your guy so that he would sort of land in the middle of it. And there was other things. There was a trapeze, usual things, and it was ridiculously hard. And I reckon if I was to go back and look at this game, or at least a long play of it, I'd be like, oh, this isn't a game. This is awful. It probably was quite torturous. Also on that cartridge was International Soccer, which was basically a football game, but it was a Commodore 64, so the ball was actually a box rather than a ball.
A pixel.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And the final game, which is a game that has more fond memories for me, is Flimbo's Quest.
Yeah, Flimbo's Quest. I just looked up the cartridge. I think people were saying, really boring cartridge.
It's black with the sort of a
white sticker, and then just like 1 Fiendish Freddy, 2 International Soccer, 3 Flimbo's Quest, 4 Clacks.
Yeah.
C64 game system. Tell me about Flimbo's Quest.
So Flimbo's Quest is it was 2-player, but it was your classic 2-player nonsense of one person plays and then the other person plays. All it says on the screen is 1P playing, 2P playing, you know. But it was a platformer. And Flimbo had to go and try and collect coins, kill monsters to collect scrolls so that you could move on to the next level. But it also had a lot of secrets in it. Very, very fun, discoverable secrets. So there was always a bonus coin room, and depending on how you approach this, you could clear the coin room, and each coin would be 5 coins or something like that. But if you collected the purple versions of the coins, i.e. by jumping over and skipping and collecting all these other coins, you got, I think, 4 times the amount, so each coin was worth 20. So you could spend your time hopping around and getting that just perfect so that you could get the maximum out of these little coin rooms. You would fight enemies with a catapult, so you would be firing at them, but it had a very short range.
So like a slingshot.
Yeah, slingshot sort of thing. Catapult. Sorry. But you could get upgrades, you could find potions, and yes, other secrets, really, really cool secrets were like you could press down and fire at the same time at certain places, and you would find these places. They wouldn't be discreet. They'd be like, oh, that's that top corner, very end of the map. I'm going to try that. And you would get like a 1-up, or you would get a slingshot that went on for the whole screen. So suddenly you were like, yes, I can finally, get past these guys. And you were just looking for monsters because they would constantly respawn, and occasionally, depending on what way you approached the screen, i.e. from left or from the right, the monster would appear sort of glowing in colours, and he would drop a scroll. So So you had to kill him. He was harder than the rest of them, and I just really enjoyed it. And it's one of these tunes similar to like that of Shadow of the Beast and stuff like that just sticks in your head. And I'm probably going to put that on as the background music.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're listening to it now? Yeah.
Maybe. If I can find it. But yeah, so Flimbo's Quest was very much close to my heart, and it was my friend's C64 games system that I played it on, which was basically a Commodore 64 without a keyboard.
Right.
Which is just brutal. And you could only play these cartridges. Whereas you could buy a normal Commodore 64 for pretty much exactly the same price, and it had a cartridge slot in the back.
Yeah.
So you could just play it normally.
So how did that work? Were there just things you couldn't do if you needed a keyboard, or?
Yeah. That was it. So all the games that came out in cartridges, you didn't need to have any keyboard input for, or I think there was some, and then can't do that anymore. But yeah, so the cartridges were just plugged into the back in the same way as like an N64 cartridge worked, or NES cartridge, similar dating. And you just plug it in and you play it from there, and you don't need to do the whole thing of loading up a tape. But the cartridges were 30 quid.
Yeah.
Now the weird thing is, I remember playing those 4 games a lot.
Yeah.
And to death, and I remember it was my friend's system. But for some reason, like, I didn't see that friend a lot. Like, I moved away and I don't know, maybe he gave me it or something like that.
It could just be, it could just be childhood memory.
Yeah,
you know, which makes days stretch out to years.
Yeah, exactly. I probably played it for a day, but I remember it. You know, I don't know. There was enough time to find secrets and things like that.
Yeah, it sounds like with Flimbo's Quest. Because how old would you have been? You reckon?
Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna say I would have been like 8 or 9, maybe.
Yeah, 8 or 9. Obviously, it's clearly, and you haven't played Flimbo's Quest since, right?
I have.
I think.
So I came back and like whenever I get a C64 emulator or anything like that, I'll have a little look, and I have played it since, and it's still quite. It hit me right in the nostalgia, and if I was to go and play it now, it still would. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and do you still remember where certain secrets are?
Yes, like quite vividly in my head. But it was also a really hard game. So I think the more I think about it, like I don't think I got past like level 3. You know, it's one of these ones where you would lose lives, and then you'd get to level 3 and you've got 1 life left, and you're just like, I need to explore, I need to find things out. Oh no, I'm dead. Now I have to start from level 1 all over again.
Yeah, I remember the Dizzy exploration games being like that. You just learn through
dying.
Walking from transitioning from one screen to another, instantly dying. But right, okay, so I can't go that way if I want to survive. Yeah, a lot of trial and error. Looking at Fiendish Freddy's Big Top of Fun.
Big Top of Fun, brilliant. Yeah. Yes.
Really creepy. There's kind of like a clown. I guess it must be.
Yes, Fiendish Freddy.
Yeah. And interestingly, because obviously this game made it onto the Amiga and something else, but as you can see, Fiendish Freddy's across different systems. I think perhaps the creepiest ones are the earlier systems, right?
Yeah.
Where you've only got like 2 colours or.
And it was brutal. Like when I was talking about the guy jumping into the water, when he missed, you would see like bones cracking. And there was also like I think there was a knife spinning. No, not knife spinning. The person on a
knife throwing. Yeah,
knife throwing, and a person on a circle that was spinning round. And you had to hit balloons, but I think like you could hit the person and there would be blood, or at least in my head, I remember it that way. Yeah.
Funny. Clax, does that have anything for you?
No. It was a puzzle game. It was what it was. I don't think it had music, or at least I don't remember that having that much music. But yeah, it was a what's the word I'm looking for? It was a time waster. It didn't have an end or anything like that. There was no win. It was just a thing that you would do.
And so, playing these are the first games you remember playing, if not the first games you ever played. Was there something about them that made you think like, wow, aren't video games amazing? Like, would you say you were hooked from then, or not really? It was just a curio?
I think because there was 4 games, really sort of, and they were so different as well.
Yeah.
Really sort of added an extra level there. So, because like a football game, I mean, you don't play. I wouldn't have chosen to play a football game, but you did because it was there, and like you ended up having fun playing a football game, an awful football game. I think because it had that not introspective. What's the word I'm looking for? Eclectic selection. It probably had a bigger impact on me than ever. Sort of kind of like, this is what a game could be, like a Flimbo's Quest, a rip-off of a supposed rip-off of Mario. It was a platformer in its own right. And other things like the Clax if you were bored, the football one as well, and of course the crazy Fiendish Freddy, which I don't know if you could win either with as well. It was just really, it was how, like, I think everything went badly for you. It's just how not badly it went.
It's just how far you could get.
Yeah. Or no, you would play all of the things. It's just at the end of every event, whether it was the knife throwing or trapeze or whatever, you just got given money by clowns. They were sort of like a panel of judges, and they gave you money. And I'm pretty sure it was just arbitrary how much they gave you. It's sort of like the stars in Mario Party,
Yeah. Would you spend that on, or was it just that was your rating and then?
Oh yeah, that was just your rating. That was it. You play through the 6 or 7 games, or however many games. I'm doing air quotes.
Yeah.
You play the events from Fiendish Freddy, and you end it, and that's it. I don't think there's an arc or an ending or any kind of storytelling there. Just that circuses are creepy.
Okay. Yeah. Fiendish Freddy art is really creepy.
It really is. Maybe we should make an effort next meetup to play Fiendish Freddy together and see how awful it is.
Yeah. Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think if you'd seen, or if you went into a shop and you had a C64, and instead of it just being the C64 game system, boring white label, it was the actual Fiendish Freddy box art with this creepy. I mean, who buys that? Who goes into a shop and buys? Oh yeah,
this game. People like like people, like people buy heavy metal albums with like bondage and stuff like that on the front of them, and there's,
yeah, but it's just so disturbing. Like, his mouth is so wide.
I'm gonna have to look it up now.
Yeah, look it up. Maybe you never saw it. Oh, I guess you saw it on the title screen, but
yeah, but it'll be like a C64 version of. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow, the C64 one is terrible. Yeah, I remember that now. Imagitech, Design Limited, Mindscape Games.
Yeah, Mindscape game.
Wow, yeah, this is. And yeah, there's the panel. There's the. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, right. This is not interesting to anyone. Google Fiendish Freddy's Big Top of Fun. Have a look at those images, and then we can move on. Right. I don't think I have anything more to say about my first game.
That was your.
Or my first glimpse into games. Yeah. So let me throw the question right back at you. What was the game you first remember playing, Farley?
So the game that I first remember playing was my grandma. I had a bunch of Game & Watches. So she had
actual Game & Watches, like the proper ones?
Yeah, the actual ones. Yeah, the actual Nintendo ones. Octopus, Donkey Kong Jr., Manhole, Snoopy Tennis. There were these little LCD.
I remember them so well, and in all honesty, I didn't even register them as video games, and I probably have played more LCD video games than I remember, and probably should have counted that as one of my first games. But yeah, no, go on.
Yeah, so I don't know why she had them, but she had them around. So yeah, we just rinsed through watch batteries doing them. And trying to get high scores. And one of the things I loved about these is if you took the batteries out, or if you put fresh batteries in, it would, for a couple of seconds, it would show you, all the possible silhouettes that there could be on the screen all at once.
Yeah.
So you'd see every position that Snoopy could be in.
Yes, of course, you would see absolutely everything. Yeah.
And there are a couple of things that you have to do really, really well to see or to get to. So, how do you get? What's the name of the little bird in Snoopy?
Tweety.
Tweety?
Oh no, Woodstock.
Woodstock, yeah.
For some reason, I thought Tweety Pie. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Woodstock. Something you could do to get Woodstock to pop out. So I just remember those when we were waiting to kind of have big family Sunday dinners. We'd just be playing on those. I think they belonged to my mum and her siblings. Like, they each had one.
Wow.
So yeah, it must have been from when they were kids, maybe. God knows how. So yeah, really, really weird. I have these really strong memories with them. I picked them up the other couple of years ago, so I have a couple of them, but not all of them. And at various points, Nintendo sort of re-released them. And so I managed to pick up the Donkey Kong Jr. one on the 3DS. So for a while, you could only get it through, we've complained about this before, the Nintendo Stars catalog.
Yeah.
So it was an DS game. You had to have a silly number of star points. Maybe it never even came out in Europe. I was absolutely gutted. And then they did release them on the either the 3DS or the DSi, so I downloaded them. And every now and then, just still, you were saying about playing Flimbo's Quest or whatever it is, and you'd get the nostalgia. If I'm at a real loss as to what to play, I'll whack on Donkey Kong Jr. and I'll be right back there, transported back in time, even though it's on a DS and not an LCD screen.
Was there a way to win what you played?
I think I think they just got harder and harder and harder and harder. So in Manhole...
So that's what I'm remembering. I'm remembering it, and I wonder if you actually played this one as well. A game called Space Adventure or something like that. And basically you were a ship that could move around clockwise or anti-clockwise. And depending on whether you were at like, I don't know, say like 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock, you would be shooting a different spaceship.
Oh God! Was it like a yellow?
It's like an ear shape in yellow. Yeah. I actually had a grey one. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
it looks more like some kind of spirit level or tape measure than an LCD console. Yeah.
And I had that, and I remember loving that thing because it also had like a clock on it and an alarm clock as well, and it would play songs and stuff.
That was the and watch bit of the Game & Watch.
Yeah. Oh, watch. I always thought it was like to look, not to have the time.
No, they had the time, so they had alarms, and
Wow, I just clicked. Really, like Mr. Game & Watch has been said so much in my life.
And you just thought it was about looking. I mean, maybe it's a double entendre, right? Maybe it's you're watching, but it's also a watch.
Yeah. Wow. But yeah, you've hit me right in the nostalgia as well with that one. That's twice I've used that phrase.
But what I realised, I guess played them all the time and really enjoyed them, but I don't think it was like a jumping off point or a gateway drug into video games. But I think it was only much later when various elements of it were so Mr. Game & Watch was in Smash Brothers. It's like, whoa, I remember that. And then one of the Wii U games, maybe Nintendo Land. There's a whole game based around the octopus. They just love then referencing back to these things, and it kind of really struck me because by then I was quite a big Nintendo and Sega fan. I was like, oh wow, I remember these characters. Like, what? How come I remember these characters? Oh yeah, from these Game & Watches, which at the time were completely divorced, because they obviously weren't, completely divorced in my head from being like a major video games company or characters that ever appeared in anything else. To think that Donkey Kong is Donkey Kong of today, still playing Donkey Kong games. Started off by rescuing from a cage. Really strange timeline, I think, for us. So started with these weird handheld things, and where we are today.
It really is, and it's like, sorry, I'm quite honestly just looking whilst you're talking at these old things. That's how much oh wow, okay, yeah, fantastic. And in fact, I'm gonna WhatsApp you the one I was talking about right now. But yeah, I want to buy it. Like, you can buy these things for like 15 quid on eBay.
Yeah, did you were you ever tempted by the modern ones they did? So the NES.
No,
Zelda
absolutely not.
No. Was there another one?
Were they still LCD?
No, so it looked and felt exactly like these, but it was actually more like a GBA screen.
So they just resold another Mario Brothers game, yeah.
Yeah, and Legend of Zelda.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I like the idea of it, and I like the idea of being able to take it around. And, like, if somebody turned around to me and said, here is a system that only plays the latest Pokemon game, and you can carry it around, I would be like, I will buy your hardware. That is absolutely fine. I'm down.
What I'd like to see, I imagine this scene actually already exists, is modern games LCD-ified.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
LCD Skyrim, LCD Fallout. Just reimagined as like a one-screen game.
Yeah.
Where you're, I don't know, you're like running up and down for supplies or something like that.
So right now, all I can imagine of Skyrim would be like you have your dual wield system. You have a sword in each side, and of course it only goes up or down,
Yeah.
and then coming towards you is just like
Yeah, and you
coming
your sword
towards you
up
is
and
just like
sword,
these zombie guys, the drawers, coming towards you, and you just have to hit it at the right time. You never know if you have hit it at the right time. There's zero skill involved.
Yeah. And it's not hitting it, it's just making sure that your sword is lined up in the same position as them as they're coming in. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
There we go. LCD remakes. LCD remakes must be a thing. I'm sure there's a huge scene in the Netherlands or something doing it.
I mean, is LCD like... I mean, how... As a medium, does it preserve well liquid crystal displays? I mean, all my calculators went bust for some reason. You know?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know. I don't know how they worked. I still don't know how they worked. Is there actual liquid crystal in there?
Yeah.
Was it like ink? Is it like an Etch-a-Sketch? How do they work?
So there's a charge put through a liquid.
Yeah.
Which is why, and there's sort of like set places where that charge can work. But I don't know much more than that. Like all my calculators, like they all went bust. They didn't have like a broken screen. They just had they just sort of stopped working, or
maybe the batteries ran out.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Anyway,
you still get LCD screens on things, right?
Yeah, I suppose like maybe you would get one on like a washing machine.
But also, you get them on like pedometers.
Yes.
Things like dial calipers,
scales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God. Listing. Welcome to the LCD listing podcast. Get scared, yeah.
Right. Let's scrap the questions episode. Let's just list things that have LCD displays on them.
Pregnancy tests?
I don't know. I haven't taken one recently.
Okay. LCD screen pregnancy test.
Yeah, because they need to make them kind of foolproof as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them still do. I mean, a lot of them now have like mini digital screens, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, let's stop listing LCD. But yeah, that is a very, very cool memory. And probably one of the first games that I played was probably an LCD game of some sort. Space Adventure. I remember I had a Simpsons one as well. It was bright pink.
Yeah, I remember there were. I can't remember the brand now. But we definitely had like a Top Gun one and a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one.
I feel like it was Granada.
In the same make. Konami?
Konami?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Konami LCD games. I mean, that lines up right because they had the Turtles license. Yeah.
Yeah, I've just found it. Bartman, the Avenger of Evil. This bright purple game with green buttons. So it still shows you how old The Simpsons were. That first season of The Simpsons, the merchandise that came out of that season was just nuts. Everything was everywhere. don't have a cowman. And
yeah, but it was
Simpsons
weird
sing the blues.
because it only aired on Sky, and in this country, not many people had Sky for a long time. So the merchandise and the video games almost predated. Like, what is this Simpsons stuff that you see everywhere? Because not many people.
Because you got them on VHS. You know, I remember being excited about seeing Simpsons VHSs. They had white covers, and they were like, "Oh, it's season 1 of the Simpsons," and you had to wait for like a few months before the next ones came out.
Yeah, we definitely hired Simpsons VHSs, and then the movie. Did they have a movie?
No, the Simpsons movie wasn't until like 2000 odd.
Oh, there was something. Or maybe it was just a like feature length. Maybe it was Batman. Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, like they had
nostalgia.
the Simpsons Sing the Blues, which is just nuts. I listened to it the other day there. I was just like, wow, why did they make this? Why? And because it makes no sense. Like, you've got to do the Bartman on that, which everybody knew. Then the rest of it is genuine blues. You know, it's like Homer singing about, "Oh, I don't want to go to work," or Lisa talking about having no friends and playing the saxophone. You're just, what the hell? But yeah, no, they were massive. But anyway, right, okay, cool. Have you anything more you wanted to mention about LCDs?
No, that's
should
it.
I ask you any questions?
Just ask me it. No, that's it.
Yeah, cool. Okay, was that the first question, Farley?
Yes, question number 1. I'm glad
question.
We could do 8 of these.
Yes. Let's try one more question, shall we? I'm gonna dig out this next question because I've got it prepared and so ready, and I'm not stalling for time in any fashion. Here we go. Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Are your ears prepped?
Yes.
Good. What is a game you like but few others do, or perhaps got panned in reviews or something like that?
Okay, so I was thinking about this question because when we did the bad games episode, right, we were thinking about bad games, but it's a game that I like that not many others do. So the one that,
incidentally, it was shit games.
Yeah, shit
it wasn't
games.
Bad
Sorry.
games, it was shit games.
That was shit games. One of the ones that came to mind was Dead Rising Chop Till You Drop.
Okay.
So I don't even remember this. So Dead Rising came out on the Xbox, and as we've undoubtedly said a number of times before on the podcast, that being in that mall and seeing hundreds of zombies was like one of those few things that, oh wow, this is really next gen, because you just couldn't have had that on the Xbox or the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
And so I played a lot of that, but I only played it at a friend's house. So I just absolutely loved everything about that game. The setting, the story, the time pressure, all the psychopaths, the fact that it was a love letter to zombie films, and there were Capcom references thrown in there. One of my favorite games. But unfortunately, I didn't have a 360, and there was no. Was it 360? Must have been. Yeah, it must have been.
No idea.
Dead Rising, yeah. But there was no way that I could afford a 360, because I had a Wii and quite a few games for that, and then they made this really bizarre port called Dead Rising Chop Till You Drop, and it was using the Resident Evil 4 engine, maybe.
Oh wow, that's quite cool. I have like zero recollection of it. Yeah.
But it was universally panned because obviously you couldn't get the full Dead Rising experience into a Wii game. So it was the same setting, and you'd recognise the mall, and the story was, sort of along the same lines. But instead of having this open freedom and thousands of zombies, it would be lots of corridors, lots of barriers in the way. Not that many zombies on the screen at one time. So yeah, it was just a poorer port in any way you'd care to imagine. The original Dead Rising, but because I'd played and loved the one on the 360, but had no way to play it and was just really jonesing to play it.
Yeah.
I just loved it. This was my way of being able to do it. I think I played it through. I've rarely done this with any game. Played it through back to back 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, just because it was my way of being able to experience Dead Rising, and it wasn't awful. It's the Resident Evil 4 engine, so it was it was that over the shoulder.
Yeah.
So it was serviceable.
I didn't think that had actually ever been, what's the word, like reused. So I'm quite excited to even hear about that sort of thing.
Yeah. I think it must be that one for the Resident Evil 4 engine on the Wii. But yeah, most other people hated it because it was just very much a poor man's version of Dead Rising. And this was at the height of that round of the console wars where I think the big boy consoles of the PlayStation 3 and the 360, all of those console fanboys were just super butthurt because the Wii was just so popular. They'd be ranting and raving about it online on the forums, and then when you go home for Christmas, your grandma and your mum have asked for a Wii, and you're all playing bowling. Everyone's having a great time making their Miis, and for fuck's sake. But have you seen Forza 2 or whatever it was on the 360?
Yeah.
Nobody cared, mate.
Nobody cared.
Nobody cared. Anyway, so looking it up on Metacritic, it didn't do too badly actually. 61%, which is basically a 4 out of 10 in video game speak. On Metacritic, Dead Rising chopped you drop.
Yeah.
There
Cool.
we go. That's my game that I loved, and maybe I should play it again.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. I think you should go back to it.
Yeah, see if it holds up. I mean, it was super clunky as well because obviously on the 360 it was quite seamless. There were a few loading screens here and there, but on the Wii, forget it. Every time you went from one area to another, bit of a loading screen, and obviously that kind of really kills the urgency.
Yeah.
Of rescuing survivors. I think there was Waggle involved as well. Yeah. How about you? What's a game that you like but few others do, or a game that was not particularly critically
well received?
Yeah, but you have a soft spot for it.
So this one, I think, fits right in the middle, and I don't know. You can probably say, "Shut up, Richie. Go away. Think of another game because you've done this wrong."
Is it Ocarina of Time?
No. I think of the games that I've played and the time invested, I think we were talking about this just the other day there as well. I think I really, really enjoyed Final Fantasy 13 and Final Fantasy 13-2. Now, I know, but they got really, really panned to start with. So Final Fantasy 13, obviously, it had the forever to be remembered 20-hour tutorial.
Yeah, famously so.
Yeah. That being said, I enjoyed it all thoroughly. The world it created, I loved and really, really enjoyed. Then Final Fantasy 13-2 came out, and most people hated this. And I think I don't even know what score it's got. I'm probably
Just
gonna.
look-
It's
yeah,
probably
just-
gonna be like 7 out of 10 or something like that.
I'm just looking up. So, on Metacritic, which is what it is.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 13 got 83 from the critics,
Okay.
and 70 from the fans.
Yeah, 7 out of 10. There you go.
Um,
Oh no, 13.2 got.
79.
Wow.
But I'm with you. I don't remember. I just remember it being unanimously hated. Sorry, not unanimously. Universally
Yeah.
hated. And a bit of a joke because of this, like, oh yeah, the game gets good after 20 hours. Oh, who's playing 20 hours games? And then Lightning Returns, which do you also stick by Lightning Returns?
No. This is the. I mean, we mentioned this in Moon Games. The it has a roguelite element, Lightning Returns.
Uh-huh.
So you play it, you've only got a set amount of time, and then it resets, and it is too much stress for me. So I have not played it, despite owning it, I think, on 3 separate systems, just in case I ever do play it. And it's also, when I got it, I was like, I've got to buy this. Got it on the 360, day of release.
Yeah.
And I bought the DLC, and I got some special edition DLC to go with it as well.
Nice.
And
Did you get like a special jacket or something?
I think it was like a Moogle outfit.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you've just never played it?
No, I have played it.
Okay.
I played it, and I was getting right into it, and then it was like, there's a timer? Why is there a timer? Oh, and then panic. I don't want to play this game. Do you know what I mean?
Lightning Returns got 66 on Metacritic, so
Okay.
you weren't alone in really not
But
liking it.
I'm surprised about the Final Fantasy 13-2 because I remember it not being liked and everybody raging because it was Sarah rather than Lightning who was the main person in it.
Yeah.
And you only got one other person in your party, so you couldn't switch your party around. The only thing that they did was they added in a Pokemon element where you could train monsters that you
I
fought.
remember that, yeah. Could you just like breed them and infuse them and stuff like that?
I don't think you could breed them. I think you could find...
Turn them into gems and then give those gems to some
yeah.
of the monsters and...
Yeah, because you had to level up their skills. Because you wanted certain ones to be like tanky, or certain ones to be... what's the system? The stagger system that they have in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. They added that stagger... They have that in Final Fantasy VII Remake as well, don't they? Do you know what I mean?
Sorry, yeah, I'm just processing. In the remake, yes, they do, yeah. Stagger, and then you can hit them for...
Yeah. So that was introduced in 13, and you want enemies that are good at staggering, and then enemies that are good at doing full damage and stuff like that. So you could, sorry, not enemies, but enemies, monsters on your side.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So you train them up, and you do the Pokemon element thing, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, especially the time travel factor, like going hundreds of thousands of years in the future, or going back, to moments before Final Fantasy 13 started, and all the time Sarah would always miss Lightning in some fashion. You would just see bits of her and stuff like that, and it's just like that. It really hit home as a good game, and you actually got to interact with the other people in the party. So you had Snow and oh gosh, I can't remember the guy they had the chocobo in his hair, the afro.
Oh yeah.
Forgotten his name. That's annoying. And then Hope as well. So that was a kid in Final Fantasy 13, and he gets grown up, and he's actually like exploring space and stuff like that. And you meet up with him, and he understands that Sarah's able to live in different time things at the same time, so it's helping her out. But you catch up with him at different phases of his life as well, and he knows, and there's like this weird continuity going on. So cool. I really, really enjoyed that arc. And of
Saz, I think.
Saz, yes, good shout. Yeah, I don't know. So basically, I'm talking about a good game, and I've kind of
I've mentioned this before, and you mentioned it. I inherited, I think 13 and 13-2.
Yeah,
I've never put them on, but yeah, the next time I've got some time and I don't really know what I should be doing, I might pop them on. It is that first 20-hour killer. I've played that so many times.
Have you?
Just running down that big corridor, learning the combat system.
Yeah, see, the reason that they say it's 20 hours is you only get, I think, 3 members in your party, and they restrict how much you can do.
Yeah.
And basically, when you hit that 20-hour mark, it's like the limit breaks have come off the game.
Yeah.
And you are like, oh shit, okay, I can have 4 party members. I can now get them doing this thing, or I'm allowed to automatically get this person doing that. And then the game is just like, this is what the game should have been. You could have just told me this at the start of the game, you know? Like, and I think that's the initial gripe, perhaps. And it's understandable, but at the same time, breathe in. Enjoy the world and the scenery that Final Fantasy 13 creates in that first 20 hours, because it's confusing. It's fantastic. And I think when I use the word fantastic, I mean it it is a fantasy world.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like no other. It's like, it's not Earth. It's not. I suppose you could probably approximate it to some animes or something like that, but it's fantastical in the same way as a Ghibli movie is fantastical. I like this. Yeah, I would say that 13 is good, and 13-2. Well, I think I'm gonna go away and I'm gonna contemplate that question for next time and see if I can find an actual game which got a shit rating that I actually like.
Yeah, maybe it's just the hype at the time, and also I think maybe it so much wasn't the game, but when it seemed like you couldn't get away from lightning, and it was like Square Enix had. Maybe she was really, really popular in Japan.
I think she was. Yeah.
Over here, it just came across as like, please give us anything but. Why is lightning appearing in this? Why is there that ridiculous lightning jacket? Why is there another lightning game? So I think people maybe got sick of the character before they did the actual game, but that's what tainted the memories.
In the English dub, I think a lot of things were missing because Lightning is a bit of a cow in the games, and she's military trained.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have a lot of depth beyond being sort of lead attacker and leader of the party. You don't see her do much in the way of empathy until sort of later in the plot, where she's really, you start to understand it's her love of her sister and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, also like the fact that these people are immortal as well. It really changes the way you view them as well. Yeah, no, I think I might be too down on Lightning, but I think perhaps the Western version of her might have been whitewashed in a fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a character trait that we perhaps get over here very much.
Yeah.
Because we like our lady characters to be simple.
Well, also, it would be nice if she smiled every so often. Nah, but I actually mean that.
Cheer up, love. It might not be that bad. Might not happen.
I do mean that in a serious way as well. Because like the other characters, they would have fun and they would have moments. And of course, Snow being very carefree and things like that, but she genuinely would never crack a smile, sort of thing. Which was, I don't know, like even if it's a male character like Cloud,
yeah,
you know, he does smile at certain points in Final Fantasy VII Remake that makes you think,
yeah, it's dragged out of him though.
Yeah, but again, it does help you dislike a character when they are hard to even relate to. It's like, make a joke, do something, enjoy something, you know, and I think that's what gets to you sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, look at how much we lambast Score, for example.
Yes.
And not so much Monkey Boy, you know? Monkey Boy gets a pass because he's a fun Monkey Boy.
Yeah, Monkey Boy's great.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. And then, enjoy the fact that you've got these crazy powers. I think in Chrono Trigger, with Chrono, he does these stupid things, and he actually references how he does stupid, victory poses, and is excited he's got a time machine that can go through different eras. Good. That's how normal people would react. Not right, okay, I'm gonna go to the time machine and I'm just gonna take what I need to do, and I'm not gonna be at all impressed by any of the cool technology or anything like that. You would totally be in awe and everything. And I'm not talking about yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
You need a character you can relate to, and I think certain aspects of Lightning was not relatable.
Mm-hmm.
And to a certain degree, some anti-heroes as well.
Cool.
Yeah. Shall we pause there? I'll come back with an actual answer next time, and we'll go on to some more questions.
This game that got 88%, everyone was shitting on it when it came out.
I remember people not liking Final Fantasy 13 too.
Maybe it was that all-powerful vocal minority that we know and love when it comes to
exactly
video games and the internet. Yeah.
Did Edge not like it? And
this game's shit. Meanwhile, everyone's playing it, enjoying it.
Yeah, I think everybody's initial gripe was, how can you have 13-2?
Yeah, I mean, it was 10-2 had come first, so.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. That was exactly it. Yeah. Never mind. Yeah.
So these days, fucking, all bets are off. Black and White 2, 6.5. Dream Drop Distance Requiem for a 4.5.
Oh my god, yeah, the Kingdom Hearts one's version 2.8.
I know, I remember we were outraged when, there were sequels to numbered games, let alone fractions.
Yeah. Decimalization. Version. Cool. Yeah. Okay, cool, yeah. Let's, we'll be back. We shall return with more questions. That guy's a maniac.
Why'd he bite me?